This next award is the PGAs of Europe Special Recognition Award, where we look to honour an individual for their work and dedication in promoting the values of the PGAs of Europe. And this year, our board of directors have decided to award it to a long-standing friend of ours. Last year, we were delighted that we could do so with a long-term colleague, Dennis Shaw. And this year, it's to somebody who's probably worked even longer than Dennis did with us. His presence on our board of directors, as well as being chairman of Education Committee, spanned over 20 years. Almost as long as you, John Etienne. And it's too difficult to mention all of the projects that he's been involved with, both in Sweden and right across the continent. And no doubt he will have touched all of your PGAs and most of your PGA professionals over those 20 years, spreading the message of the education ladder that never ends, which is something that we've certainly kept with us, and sharing the values of the PGAs of Europe. His passion for education and desire to share knowledge across the PGAs has meant such a great difference to advancing the standards right across the continent. And it gives me great pleasure to give this year's PGA Special Recognition Award to Leif Ohlsson.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to have received this award, but it can always also be a little bit dangerous, because to give a former teacher the chance to speak can be a little bit dangerous, but I will try to be short. For me, a circle has been closed. It started already 1978 with the PGA of Sweden, and I was picked up by Christer Lindberg. And at that time, we had some trouble with education in Sweden. And he asked me, can you modernize the educational program for professionals? And I said to him, I can give it a try. And my background was in sports science and working with top athletes. So what I tried to do at that time was to look upon golf as a sport and try to introduce what we know within all other sports. And that was really a challenge. It was a little bit of a cultural revolution. So we had really to fight at the beginning. But it ended up in a lucky way. And it's also interesting to have Mikael here, because Mikael was one of the students in the first modern educational programs we had in Sweden. And there were many others that have been very successful. Henry Rice was one of them. If you are familiar with Annika Sörenstam, he has been her coach for many years. And there were many others. So it was an interesting start. But I was also picked by Christer to join the PGAs of Europe. So I took part already in '91. So I was 1 year after Jean Etienne. And it was also a very interesting thing to do, because it was the first time I worked with so many people from different countries. But during that time I have met so many dedicated people that had a vision and a passion, and people that had the will to do something and the courage to do it, and also the endurance to fulfill it. That's what you need. And 20 years later, we have seen the result. We have a more unified Europe in golf. We have a stronger Europe in golf. We have a better education in most countries. We have a better common standards of education. So it's so different. It's so different. And my last advice will be, keep going as before, because it will never end. And this is what we call a Sisyphus work. And if you are familiar with the Greek mythology, it was the guy who had to clean the stables of King Agamemnon. It never ended either. So that's what you have to look forward, Jonathan, together with your education committee. And thank you all for a fantastic journey. Thank you very much.